Hopefully you guys have enjoyed some of the different projects that I've showcased on my channel here on Low Boost Films, whether it be my BMW E36 Turbo LS swap, all the way to my 1966 Ford Mustang 302 swap with the HOLLEY Sniper EFI. That car is currently for sale. We're still working on my dad's 1953 Ford F100 pickup truck that's got a Ford Crown Victoria front end swap with a 408 stroker in it. We've accumulated some experience over the past few years that I really think I want to try to take my skills to tackling something that's a lot more daunting. And the next project that we're going to be doing is definitely a lot more daunting, and there's a lot more skill that's going to be involved to build it. I feel like I have a lot of experience now over the past few years that I'm able to handle something like this. I think it's about time to take on the biggest project that this channel has ever seen and might well ever see. And not only is it the biggest project that we'll see, it's also one of my dream cars, and I think one of the most beautiful cars that has ever been made. We are going to be building a replica of the 1965 FIA World Championship car. If you know what I'm talking about, you know I'm talking about the Factory 5 Type 65 Shelby Daytona Coupe. The Factory 5 Shelby Daytona Coupe is actually a full-on kit car that has been around for a long time. Originally, the Shelby Daytona Coupe was based off of a Shelby Cobra chassis, but the Cobra really wouldn't handle racing at high speeds because it just didn't have the aerodynamics. So Pete Brock and the rest of the team at Shelby designed a full-on, full-bodied coupe race car to actually race at Le Mans. And if you didn't know, it won its class in Le Mans, and if it didn't blow a radiator hose, it would have won the overall championship in Le Mans. Unfortunately, Shelby ended up taking on the Ford GT project, which essentially put the Shelby Daytona Coupe to bed, and they only made 6 of those cars, and that was it. So if you have one of the original 6 cars, they're worth like $10 million. Totally unfeasible for just about everybody on the planet. But Factory 5 has almost a full-on, complete replica of the original Shelby Daytona Coupe. It's a little bit longer, so it's more comfortable to be in, but it's almost the exact same thing. The only major differences are going to be is, instead of this being a full-on race car, this is going to have a full interior with carpet, radio, heat, and air conditioning, as well as windshield wipers and power steering. The car is going to be completely functional from that standpoint. It'll also have electronic fuel injection because it's going to get a modern engine. But other than that, it will look identical to the original Shelby Daytona Coupe, which is awesome. What's great about Factory 5 is, as opposed to working on like the last project that we had, our 1966 Ford Mustang has a completely new drivetrain, which is great. But you're still working in a 1966 that's actually a 1966, and there's a lot of rusted parts. What's cool about Factory 5 is we're getting a brand new car. It just has nothing on it. We have to put it all together. But everything's new, so it's gonna be a lot easier to put stuff together because everything's gonna be new. What you do with the coupe is you can build the car how you want it online. The way we have it set up is we have to get an engine, a transmission, a rear end, and front spindles and brakes. They sell their own, but we were able to source ours from a 1987 to 1993 Fox Body Mustang. The rear end on the car also came from a Fox Body Mustang, so we're gonna keep it true with that tradition. There are people that do go Wilwood brakes, big stopping brakes, and I'll tell you right now, although those are great, they're really for looks. This Corvette here doesn't have Wilwood brakes or anything, and it stops great from 130 miles an hour down a straightaway and doesn't overheat the brakes at all. And this is a 350 horsepower car that is 3,200 pounds. The Shelby Daytona Coupe is gonna weigh 2,400 pounds after it's done. So we're not gonna be doing any crazy racing, but even if we did, those Mustang brakes would be able to stop the car pretty easily. So we're gonna stick with that tradition of trying to keep it budget friendly, but also show that you can build stuff on a budget that still perform really, really well. Some of the parts that we already have for it, we were able to source a Ford 8.8 rear axle. It has drum brakes on it, but we're gonna be switching that around to disc brakes, and that's gonna suffice for the rear end. I was able to get spindles from a 1987 Fox Body Mustang along with brakes. I know all this stuff looks like crap right now, but we're gonna showcase exactly how you can restore some of this stuff and make it look brand new and work again. We also were able to get our hands on a TR3550, I think that's the name of it. It's really a TKO because it has TKO 600 internals. So that's gonna be a 5-speed that's gonna get mounted up to the Shelby as well. So all this stuff is gonna be getting worked on as we make our way along with the build. It's gonna be an LS car. I've had this Gen 4 LQ460
For a few years, we were going to use it on a couple different projects. It's going to be the perfect engine to use for this project, and it's going to make a ton of power while we're at it.
I know that's going to turn some heads, but hey, at the end of the day, Carroll Shelby originally went to Chevrolet for Chevrolet engines for this car, and Chevrolet didn't actually want to give it to him because they thought it would compete with the Corvette, and it probably would have. And the gentleman that actually designed the shape and style of the 1965 Shelby Daytona Coupe, Pete Brock, in his personal one that he drives today, has an LS7 in it. So if he can have an LS in his coupe, so can we. Thankfully, we have a lot of parts with our C5 Corvette that are going to be compatible with the LS engine that sits behind me that's going to go in the Shelby Daytona Coupe. One of the things I'm going to be doing is taking some of the parts off of this car to put on the Shelby Daytona Coupe, and this is going to get a special cam and head set up for track use. So a lot of the stuff is going to be compatible. It makes it really easy when you're working with LS stuff, because this will be our third LS engine that we have, you know, on Low Boost films, to build this together, because everything's compatible and it makes it super easy. I got the chance to see another car already that's in progress that's around here. A local guy around here by the name of Scott is also working on his Shelby Daytona Coupe. He's got a 427 blueprint motor that he's putting in with the TKO, and that thing is going to be great when it's done. I'm actually going to go there every now and then and take a look at his progress as he's going, to kind of give me inspiration for mine. Mine is going to be much more of a budget build project, because I want to show that you can do this kind of stuff on a budget. Part of the reason I wanted to start Low Boost Films was to show you guys you could build quality stuff in your own garage with little know-how, just some tools and some patience. So I want to keep that spirit alive with everything that we do, with the exception of my dad's truck. He spared no expense on this, but it's not me spending it, it's him. So I guess we have one thing that's really nice. I actually went to the Factory 5 showroom in Wareham, Massachusetts in March of this year in preparation for this, because I've been so excited to be able to do this. After I went to the Factory 5 showroom, I was completely hooked on this car. Sitting in it is quite comfortable. Getting in and out of it is a little tricky, but once you're inside of the car, it is super comfortable. The car is completely capable of doing 200 plus miles per hour. I'm really excited to make this announcement. I've been waiting for a while to tell you guys, but I wanted to wait until the time was right till we'd be able to actually have some stuff together to put some videos together to show you outside of just an intro video. So in the next coming weeks, you're gonna see me working on the different pieces and parts of the car that are actually going to be used on it. The car is not going to actually arrive until April or May, so we have a lot of time to prepare the drivetrain that we're getting to have it set up to be put into the car, and a lot of that stuff has to be redone and restored, so we're going to get working on that as soon as possible. So guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because there's going to be a lot of episodes on that, and if you're interested in learning on how to do a build like this is the place to be, because I'm going to showcase it as best as I can. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.